Hey, welcome to Genius Thoughts. It is Gene Bleeker, the eyes, ears, and voice of real estate, business, and the community. And I wanted to welcome to my program. I got another great real estate celebrity here, Mr. Stephen Green with Park Regency. Stephen, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you, Gene.
Well, I'm glad we're on Zoom today. Life is amazing. And I got to let you know, we've been trying to get you on this program, and I'm so happy that we did so. There's some people, believe it or not, Stephen, that don't know who you are. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your wonderful family?
Sure. I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't know who I am. But,
Shame on them.
well, yeah. I mean, who I am, Stephen Green. I've been, I got licensed in 1982. I've been at Park Regency since 1986.
Wow.
And I have to say, I still love real estate.
Well, of course you do. Well, that's why you're so good at what you do. So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about you and your wonderful family. I know you're married to a beautiful woman named Karen, correct?
Yes. Yes, married to Karen. We've been married since 1994
Okay.
and dating since 1986. So we've
Dang.
been together a long time.
Wow.
We have two kids, Matthew and Allison. Matthew lives in Phoenix, actually in Ahwatukee, a suburb of Phoenix. And he's an assistant vice president at First Bank. Um, got a degree in finance from Grand Canyon University. And my daughter, Allison, who's 26, Matt's 27, Allie's 26. And she's currently in her second year of law school at the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks. So when we gripe and complain about it being cold, if you look at the weather app today for her, it's minus 18 and it says feels like minus 31.
Oh
So,
my God.
yes. So she has 2 semesters left to go and they're both doing great.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
and Matt's engaged to be married. He's getting married in May of 2025 to a great girl named Sammy. She's a teacher, just got her master's, and Allie's got a wonderful boyfriend. His name is Yvonne. That's Yvan, Yvonne, and
Okay.
he just graduated from law school, and University of North Dakota also. University of North Dakota also. So yeah, everything's great.
Oh, well, you know, a beautiful wife, beautiful kids. You're a happy in real estate and cheers to
Yeah,
you. So
thank you.
tell me, behind the scenes, tell
Uh-huh.
me something that some of our viewers might not know about you, Stephen.
Oh gosh.
Do you have that greatest kept secret?
Yeah, that's well, the greatest kept secret I probably wouldn't tell you.
Oh, all right.
Um, but it's kind of hard to answer that question only because I'm kind of an open book. While my kids were young, they played travel sports and that. My son played travel ice hockey and he bowled, and my daughter was a competitive figure skater. So really and truly, while they were growing up, my life consisted of real estate and kids sports, and that's really all I did. And once they stopped playing sports, it was pretty much all real estate. I have learned over the years to take more time off because for some reason other people think real estate agents work 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and you're at their beck and call. And it took me 30 plus years to find out that's not true. You have to take time off and go on vacation and do things that are fun. So I don't really have any hobbies. I'm a huge hockey fan.
Okay.
I have
Got a
season
favorite
tickets.
team?
What's that? Yeah,
Fa-
I've had season tickets to the Los Angeles Kings now since 1989.
Yikes.
Um, and so I mean that's why both of my kids got put on skates, and we live in Oak Park. Everybody else was playing basketball. My kids were skating. Um, and and I love to cook. If
Okay.
Yeah, I love outdoor cooking most.
All right. I see you post every so often on Facebook about your cooking, so
Yeah,
I know you're
yeah.
very talented at what you do.
I like cooking. Cooking may be challenging real estate. No.
I get that, without a doubt. Hey, so what got you into the fabulous world of real estate?
Well, I grew up around real estate. When I was young, my father was in real estate. He owned three red carpet offices. I don't know if you're how long you've been around a long time, Gene. So you may remember red carpet realty.
My father-in-law had a red carpet office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did.
I hate that. I probably should not say my father's name because I don't know how well loved he was. David Green, but he had three red carpet offices. I think his main office he had was on Van Nuys and Burbank,
Okay.
and then he had one in. He actually owned a Golden Rule office, so two
That's
red
another
carpets
great
and a
name.
Golden Rule. Um, and So I used to pass out a door knock because I'm a big door knocker. If you didn't know,
Did
I
not.
used to pass out his flyers when I was 10 years old. I got $5 a neighborhood. Um, and I'd sit at his open houses, and it was he talked me into getting my license because he was going to give me the offices or let me take them over. And on or around the time that I got my license, he sold the offices. So um, I got my license, but it was not. But I had to do it on my own,
Okay.
which is probably better. But at the end of the day, I I got into real estate for that reason. I got till I got my license, but I didn't sell real estate. I started in 1982 and I lasted about
Right?
6 months. And I was working. Do you know BD Russell?
No.
Oh, BD Russell ran the Coldwell Banker office on was it Chatsworth or San Fernando Mission and Balboa
Right?
years ago. And that's where I started out. It just wasn't right for me when I was 18 years old. It wasn't right. And Then I went to Pepperdine. I got my bachelor's degree in business management, and I was in the garment business for years. And it just happened that the company I was repping in the garment business, Junior Sportswear line, went out of business.
Hmm.
And I was actually at a funeral. And another buddy of mine who was at the funeral said, "Aren't don't you have a real estate license?" And I said, "Yes." He says, "Well, God, this was in 1989. We're killing it in real estate. Why don't you go into real estate?" And I thought, okay. After the funeral was over, I went home, got out the newspaper, opened up the classified ads, and sorry, it came and interviewed at Park Regency, and I've been here ever since.
So, what was the best advice that uh, the owner at Park Regency gave you about real estate? I'm sure he was one of your mentors.
Definitely, definitely. Well, the best advice I got from not just Joe, who owns Park Regency, but my father and anybody else I knew in real estate was if you want to go into real estate and you want to have a long-term career in real estate, you better list houses.
Makes
So,
sense.
then they use the word you list for longevity, meaning if you're going to solely represent buyers, you're going to have a real up and down time in real estate. Those who control the inventory, those who list homes, um, control their destiny. One, two. I found that listing agents have a different skill set. I mean, they have to negotiate everything from their fee to getting the
Right.
listing signed and the offers and everything. Where you know, and I truly appreciate buyer's agents because without buyer's agents, the business wouldn't be the business either. But for the most part, buyer's agents don't have to have the same, I don't think, negotiating skills as a listing agent. And I don't mean that in a bad way,
Right?
but you get a buyer and you show property and you write an offer, and then most of the time it gets turned over to a listing agent, gets put in their hands to negotiate that deal. So, I've found that being a listing agent's been important, and you know, studying scripts and knowing what to say, how to say it, when to say it, also been very important.
Got it. So it's all about if you're listing a home list to last, that's some of
List
the
to
advice
last,
I've
that's
heard
it.
about the business, right?
Exactly.
So if somebody was new coming into real estate, brand new into the business, what words of wisdom would you give a brand new real estate agent?
Well, I'd probably tell them from day one, start marketing yourself to become a listing agent. It's granted, I know you get into the business and you have to do deals to survive, because there's no guarantees in this. You're on your own. You know, I would tell them you have to have a lot of blind faith, meaning you have to know that if you do the things you got to do every day, that over the course of a period of time, you'll be successful. I'm a big follower of Jim Rohn. I don't know if you know who Jim Rohn is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Jim Rohn would say, show up and stay a while, meaning you got to be here a little while. I mean, I sold my first house my second day in real estate, and that's one
Wow.
of the best and worst things that could happen, because you think, oh, this is easy. Your money, it's going to come in hand over fist. I mean, then it's like, okay, 18 months later, you haven't sold another house. You realize, well, it's not quite so easy.
Right.
But so everybody's got to represent buyers. You got it because one, you got to represent buyers because buyers are part of the real estate business. And when you get into the business, you got to represent buyers because you need a check. But
Right.
if you really want to do it the right way from day one, you got to start carving out a seller oriented business. So I would tell them you want to start developing a listing based business from day one. I would probably suggest finding a speaker who, such as a Mike Ferry or a Tom Ferry or a Brian Buffini or one of these guys who offers coaching, because I do think, and I've tried coaching, but it was difficult for me because it was like moving a battleship. I didn't try coaching until I'd been in the business for 25 years, and you just weren't going to reshape me. I'm who I was by then. But, if you had the means to get a coach right from the beginning, I'd say that would probably be very helpful. But start a listing business, and choosing an office is also critically important in my eyes. And it's not always the big franchise that's the best place. My father told me, when I first got into the business, that you want to go to an office where the owner of the company does not sell homes. Now, you want them to have been in the business so they know what's going on,
Sure.
but you don't necessarily want to be competing with the owner, because most of the time the owner is going to beat you out.
Right.
So just, if for no other reason, they go to the appointment and they're the owner.
Right.
So pick a company where the owner is not competing with you, and that offers you training and support, and that doesn't have to be the fanciest office. Fancy doesn't sell homes. Fancy doesn't attract clients. Fancy is for your ego, and your ego doesn't make you any money.
Yeah, my
So
dad used to tell me all the time, Stephen, the grass is always greener when you water your lawn. So stay loyal to the companies
right,
that you work with.
I've never heard that. That's a great saying.
Well,
I've always heard the grass is greener on the other side, but not grass was always greener when you water your lawn. And the reality is, I've been at Park Regency 38 years.
yes.
One, I'm best friends with Joe, the broker owner. He was, and I had him as a groomsman usher in my wedding in 1994. So we go back a long way. and I came here in 1986. So I was, we became developed a very strong relationship,
Right.
very family oriented relationship. And I say that's really critical because you want to have a strong team behind you. There are very few people that can do this, real estate business and be successful from working at home without a team behind them. Especially an 18-year-old kid, you need guidance. You need, somebody to be there when times are rough and times are tough and that.
I totally agree with that. And thank you so much for that great answer. So, real estate's always kind of changing every day, right? I mean,
Mhm. Yeah.
crazy markets that we run into, get out of. I mean, either we're going into a crisis or just coming out of a crisis. But can you give me your opinion on today, the good, the bad, the ugly, and awesome of real estate from your point of view?
Hmm.
I
I
know it's a
mean,
tough question.
you know, and this is why, you know, telling people things about me that they don't know. I'm kind of an open book. I show up, I work, I don't get involved in the cliques. It's like, I've been here so long that I know half a dozen people, and most people know me. I'm being facetious about half a dozen people. I know most everybody here, but the reality is, I just show up, I do my work, I go home. Um, but the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good to me has always been that real estate offers a career that you. I'll go back. When my son graduated college with his degree in finance, he said, "Dad, I want to try. I'm going to do real estate." I said, "Wonderful." Well, my wife says he's not going to like it. I said, "Yes, he will." Yeah, he didn't. And that's because some people have the gift of gab. I always said my son is smarter than I am. And I say, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but in his ways, he is. He's much more analytical. He needs more structure. I don't want structure. I want to show up and I want to, and I probably will work more hours by 50 or 100% than the average 40-hour a week person, but they're my hours. And
Right.
I'm able to come in when I want, go home when I want, which means I'll probably get in an hour before the average 9 to 5er and go home 2 to 3 hours later than the average 9 to 5er. But it's because I chose to.
Right.
And it's also what gave me the ability to go to every hockey practice and every bowling match and every hockey game, whether it was in state or out of state, because I could control my own hours. If I had if my kids were performing in middle school at 1 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, I I could go, and it didn't have to ask anybody's permission.
Right.
So that's probably the biggest good. If I wanted to take a vacation, I go. I'm smart enough to know that I need to have somebody handling my business, which I do. I've got somebody I've been working with for, gosh, 36, 37 years. And when I go out of town, I give them my phone. I don't take a phone when I go, like when I go to Arizona or, if I'm local, I'll take it. But if I go out of the country, I will not take my phone because I don't want to answer it. So it's
Right.
like it affords you the ability to create your own schedule and develop your own lifestyle. And that the bad and the ugly is probably the same thing. As one of the same things is that, I as a workaholic, I have trouble taking days off. It's taken me a lot of years to develop the mindset and the ability to say, okay, I'm not working tomorrow. Tomorrow's
Right.
my day off. Now, if you call me, I'm going to go list your house, because I'll take the next day off. But the bad would be that it's very easy to become a workaholic and be a slave to the business. Um, and the ugly, I'm not sure that there's an ugly. There's a high turnover of agents because not a lot of agents are willing to put in the the time, effort, energy that it takes to be successful in real estate. In addition, a lot of agents aren't willing or able to check their ego and at the door, and they want to be right, they want to do this. It's like, no, there's a buyer and a seller, and they have to be the winners. We get paid for a winning successful transaction. And too many agents I found want to fight. They want to fight about it. It's like, brother, what are we doing? You and I are, neither one of us are the buyer, neither one of us are the seller, and if the transaction doesn't close, neither one of us get paid either.
Right.
And as a listing agent, I'll sell it to somebody else, so one of the two of us will get paid.
Right.
So
Make it a win-win.
It's got to make it a win-win. So I'd say that the ugly is people, agents, egos. The ugly would be you got to be able to deal with with being yelled at and being put down, and it's people, whether they are or they aren't thinking they're better than you, which
Exactly.
it's like, and you just have to have no ego to say, okay, sure, Gene, absolutely, you are, and in my mind is saying, okay, this is how much this is worth to me, and I'm going to go along with it until it's done, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Exactly. And I love this interview. And Stephen, thank you so much for taking your time today. But I do have a
Sure.
couple more questions I want to ask you, if that's okay.
Yep.
So, whole new year. Is there
Yep.
anything that you're planning on doing differently this year than you did last year? Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, and I say this every year, Gene. I mean, because I've built my business on prospecting, door knocking. And, I'm religious about it. I knock every day that I work, I knock. So, used to be I would knock 6, 7 days a week. Today, I probably only work 5 to 6 days, some days 7, but for the most part, I'll knock 5 days a week. And you don't have to twist my arm or coerce me to go knocking. I just do it. And I'm crazy enough to really like it. I enjoy it because I enjoy talking to people, and most people are nice. And if they're not, I'm pretty good at making them nice. And if they're not, I go to the next door.
Right. Have
So
a
I
nice
go back
day.
a month after, and I go back the month after. So I'm never going to deviate from my door knocking, my ice cream truck, my prospecting, and that. But every year I talk about, maybe I'll add social media in, and maybe I'll add in social farming and that, and I don't. Or I shouldn't say I don't, I haven't. So if you ask me what I'm going to do differently this year, I will say that I'd like to add in some social media marketing.
Yeah, I think
Um,
visual farming is smart, without a doubt.
yeah. So I think that would be one thing. And the other is, I don't work a CRM that well. I mean, I'm more of old school. I write it down, I carry it with me, and I follow, that way, where, I probably should use a CM more effectively. So those would be the two things I would add this year. I wouldn't get crazy, because another Jim Rohn's saying is, you only, your business philosophy, there's only a half a dozen things that if you do every day, you'll have everything you want or need. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to do those 5 or 6 things every day, religiously, consistently, and you'll be fine.
Love that. Love that. And thank you for sharing that with me. You know, I
Sure.
want to ask you the question. I know what the answer is, but I want to ask you the question anyhow. What would you consider is your biggest strength in business?
I'd say it's a couple. One would be uh my ability to listen. I've, been told probably by everybody I've ever spoke to, that you're given two ears and one mouth. You use them in that order. Because if you listen, you'll get most of your answers. But beyond listening, I'm I would say that my strengths are one, I'm a very strong negotiator,
Okay.
and I'm a very good problem solver. You know, we get paid well to solve problems. We get, selling a house is not hard, but taking it to the finish line sometimes can be. We've got to be able to, one, know enough to anticipate problems, and two, how to solve them.
Right.
And then I'd say my tenacity. You know, I'm gonna outwork most people, and that might be one of my downfalls too. Is that's why I can't take any days off. Is that if I'm not door knocking, I'm not happy. I know that I know that this is a down the road business. Sure, there's low hanging fruit, and sure you're going to get a list. You'll get a listing appointment today, but was it from today or was it from something I did 2 years ago? So I know that I have to do it every day so that down the road the pipeline will stay full.
Absolutely. And I love that answer. And I would have also thrown in there, I think you're a great communicator,
Thank you.
without a doubt. I think when you talk about putting deals together and it's not about winning, it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's just let's make it happen. Let's work for our buyers and sellers. I think you
Yeah,
communicate so well with that.
well, I appreciate that. I've always said it's not what's that saying? Don't mistake my niceness for weakness,
Right.
because I don't get paid any extra for being a jerk.
No, without
I
a
mean,
doubt.
well, people say, well, that was an easy one. Yeah, but the last 11 were really hard. So I earned the easy one. It just happened to be yours,
Right.
and I value buyer's agents. Now I know that, I may have said something about, oh, be a listing agent, don't be a buyer. I didn't mean that in a bad way. I love buyer's agents. I bend over backwards for buyer's agents because they're the lifeblood of the business. However, um, I think it's very important to have that relationship and that rapport with the buyer's agent, um, because you want people to want to do business with you.
Sure. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right. So networking is the game, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
I think it's something important. It's something that I've always done really well. Can I get your thoughts on networking and how important you think that is in the real estate business?
Uh, I think it really depends on who you're networking with.
Hmm.
I mean, and this may be where, where I might be off base in some people's eyes. I think networking is great. Um, I think networking with the right people, because I've found that, if I spend too much time with real estate agents, none of them are going to be listing their homes with me or buying a house with me. So if I'm networking with agents, I that's over here. The only benefit with that form of networking is agents knowing agents when it comes times to do deals.
Right.
And I think you get that same networking by doing enough deals, because then you have a reputation. And I think having a reputation of being a closer and a strong agent, an easy agent to work with, is most important. Um, I think, and now if you're networking with potential buyers or sellers, that's awesome. So I think networking is important, but I think some people have to control how much time they put into networking and how much time they put into actually prospecting. Did that make sense?
It does, because networking isn't, in my opinion, it's not about just on the real estate side. It's kind
Yeah.
of communicating, with the consumer and the community. You know what I mean? Making relationships. I
Well,
think,
that's why I say it depends on who you're networking with.
right,
If you're networking with buyers and sellers, you should do that every day.
right.
Networking with agents, you should do that in time allotted, because none of them are going to do business with you. or
Exactly.
none of them are gonna give you business. They'll sell your listing or help or get you an offer accepted. But strong producing agents are out working and monitoring their networking time, if that makes sense.
It
I think it's
totally
critically
does.
important. I think it's really important, but it has to be put in a spot of its own.
You know, with you and I getting involved in this community growth business alliance that's
Mhm.
coming out there, I think this is going to be so advantageous to so many people
I
because you're
think
going to
so.
bring people together to make more connections and to really help them thrive in business. So I tip my hat to you in your efforts in putting this together to make a difference in the community.
Thank you. I think it'll be fun.
I do too. I do too. And I know you don't like tooting your own horn and you don't, but you were honored this year in your commitment to your business, to your clients, to the community, and to the consumer. How does that make you feel?
I mean, as much as I think any good real estate agent or business person should try to keep their ego in check. With that being said, if you're successful, you're going to have an ego.
Right.
It just goes with the territory. So you have to be able to put that away. So for me, I think it's great. I mean, I'm like anybody else. I like to be recognized. I like people to know my name. So it's very important to me. Um, I'm not that. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I think
And,
it's
and,
just
and
very
I'll let that
important, and
happen.
I like to be recognized, and because if I'm being recognized, I'm probably doing the right thing, and then the success follows that.
Well, you know what? On the front of the business card, you're a top producer, you do great business, you have a lot of accolades. I like the backside of your business card on who you are and what you stand for, that it is about the consumer, that it is about your clients, and that it is about your community. And that's what you really bring to the table. So tip my hat
Well,
off to
thank
you,
you.
friend. But I do want to ask you a couple more questions because I know we're getting close to signing off. But I want to talk to you about who was your mentor. I mean, it sounds like your father was a mentor, your mother was a mentor, Joe was a mentor to you. But can you
Absolutely.
go into a little bit more detail about who else might be a mentor in your life, in business or personally?
I mean, you know, I mean, my family is close, so I mean, I talk to my mother every day. She just lives in Northridge, in the house I grew up in. Um, so I'd say, my mother would be a strong mentor, but in business, I'd say my strongest mentor would be Joe.
I'd love to meet him
Uh,
one day.
sure, would be Joe Alexander. He's a great guy, and one of Joe's pluses is he cares more about his agents' success than some of his agents do. And we became very good friends, probably more on the lines of family than friends. I mean, I guess friends and family over the years. So I'd say, as far as a mentor, it would probably be Joe. I mean, my father. That's a story for another day, and would take much more than an hour. Um, but my father was very successful in his day and in his way. However, there are a lot of things about him that I wouldn't want to duplicate. So I'd say my father, in a sense that um, I might put it as like I was kind of born with the sales gift, the gift of gab, the gift of of that, and I received that from my father, and the love for real estate. But I don't have a lot of mentors other than that. I can't say, oh, I've got a
Hey,
coach or this or that.
two's enough,
Yeah.
two's enough, and I think that's great because your dad gave you the red carpet treatment,
Yes.
right?
No pun intended. Right.
Big pun intended. And
Right.
Joe's amazing at what he does. I mean, so
Absolutely.
you picked two amazing people.
I
So
know.
before we sign off, is there anything else you want to say to our viewers today before we let you go? Anything that comes to your head?
You know, I will say something. This is kind of how I've tried to carve my life out. And when I was driving my son to Arizona to look at apartments when he moved there 3.5 years ago to take the job with First Bank, I said, I don't really know a lot about because he's on the corporate level, not the branch where you walk in and
Right.
deposit your money or that. He's at the corporate level. I said, I really don't know a lot about this. But what I can tell you is always deliver more than is expected of you. So if you always do more than is expected, you'll always have opportunities and jobs. One, two, you only get your name once, so keep it. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, do it. If it was a bad choice, if you wished you didn't say you were going to do it, don't say you'll do it again. But even
Great.
though you're coming up on the short end of the stick, finish it, because people will remember you keeping your word. And people always want to deal with somebody who keeps their word. And lastly, have integrity, because those are the things that will get you, ahead. And that. So if I was going to tell somebody, is really, mind your name, mind yourself, be an adult, take responsibility, put in the time, show up and stay a while.
Wonderful. And I can't thank you enough for taking your time out of your very busy day to be here with me today. So, Stephen, thank you so very much.
Well, thank you, Jim.
Everybody, Mr. Stephen Green, Park Regency, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, it is Scott the Mortgage Doc with the exclusive Academy of Real Estate Professionals. And this week we've got some incredible listings. And so we're going to jump right into highlighting those right now. So we've got Craig Martin with a listing at 549,800. It is at 14265 Terabella Street, unit number 12, Panorama City 91402. It is a 3-bed, 3-bath. Living square feet on this one is 1,450 square feet. This beautifully reimagined 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom condo in Panorama City, offering 1,450 square feet of stylish living space. Bright and inviting open layout with a remodeled kitchen featuring sleek countertops, modern cabinetry, and updated appliances. The large bedroom upstairs provides peaceful retreats, each with a generous closet space for all your storage needs. Thoughtfully updated bathrooms with contemporary finishes, creating a spa-like atmosphere for your daily routine. Brand new air condition ensures your year-round comfort, keeping the space cool during the hot summer months. In-unit laundry hookups and private patio, perfect for relaxing or enjoying your morning coffee. Convenient location minutes from major freeways, shopping centers, schools, and parks, offering easy access to everything you need. Beautiful, beautiful listing there. All right. We have a listing with Marco Babineau, and this is a listing at 649,000. It is at 24116 Meadowbrook Lane in Valencia, California, 91354. It is a 3-bed, 3-bath, and this one's got a living square feet of 1,420 square feet. So welcome to this fantastic opportunity in the Brookside Walk at Creekside Community in Valencia, featuring a move-in ready 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom home with over 1,400 square feet. Southwestern facing unit, offering plenty of natural light, creating a bright and eerie ambiance throughout. The open floor plan that seamlessly connects the living room to the dining room and kitchen, providing flexibility options for furnishing and entertaining. The kitchen highlights include a 4-burner gas stove, microwave, fridge, dishwasher, garbage disposal, perfect for cooking and meal prep. Convenient laundry room with side-by-side washer and dryer, plus a private 2-car garage with bonus fridge for extra storage. The spacious primary bedroom with a walk-in closet and ensuite bathroom featuring a separate tub and shower, dual sinks, and a private loo. Community amenities include neighbor parks, pools, tennis courts, paseos, bike trails, and an EV charging station, all just a short distance away. What a dynamite listing that is. All right. We have another listing with Kevin Pike, and this is at 879,950, and this is at 20511 Mandel Street in Winnetka, California, 91306. It is a 3-bed, 2-bath. Living square feet on this one is 1,392 square feet. This spacious 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home on that 8,324 lot, featuring an open concept floor plan that's perfect for family living. It's got fully renovated kitchen, bathrooms, offering modern upgrades throughout the home. The cozy living room with a fireplace plus a den, dining room, and a spacious primary bedroom with a private bathroom retreat. Salt water pool with a pebble finish and an outdoor gazebo, creating a great space for relaxing and entertaining. The fully paid solar panels helping you to keep utility bills low and saving hundreds of dollars each month. Wide side yard ideal for hard-to-find RV parking, providing extra convenience for vehicle storage. It is centrally located near shopping, dining, and schools, making this home both practical and well-positioned in a desirable area. What a beautiful listing. And we're rounding off with Elgin Walker with a listing at $849,777 and is at 511 Sugarloaf Drive in Palmdale, California, 93551. It is 4 beds and 4 baths with a living square feet on this one is 3,102 square feet. So this gated estate with over 3,000 square feet of living space located on a spacious 40,000 plus square foot lot offering breathtaking panoramic views, and it's got 4 spacious bedrooms, including a convenient downstairs suite, ideal for guest or multi-general living. Luxurious master suite featuring a cozy fireplace and expansive views, creating the perfect retreat. 3 fireplaces in the living room, family room, master suite, adding warmth and elegance throughout the home. Expansive living and family areas, ideal for entertaining with seamless access to the outdoors. It's got private tennis courts, RV pad, perfect for outdoor recreation and added convenience. 3-car garage and impeccable design, all offered at an unbeatable price, making this a rare opportunity in Palmdale. And wow, what some incredible listings and some incredible price points as well for all those listings. And so this is Scott the Mortgage Doc signing off with the exclusive Academy of Real Estate Professionals. Bye, everybody.